Ladies and gents, I am the one and only DJ Storms. I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com. It is, of course, Tuesday, September 7th, 2021. We are less than 48 hours removed from an absolutely insane all-out pay-per-view. This is, of course, the official rewind for AEW All Out 2021, which, of course, streamed live on pay-per-view on Sunday, September 5th, with the buy-in pre-show starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, main show starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and I am joined by a loyal DJ Storms posse member, one of my top elite, no pun intended, members of the DJ Storms posse. He's a senior administration member on the DJ Storms posse Facebook page, lifelong wrestling fan. He's been on the channel various times, and he is back once again to help me review this very historic pay-per-view. Please help me welcome Mr. Earl Cole. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, DJ Storms. How are you today? And it's great to be back on your channel. It's great to be back on your brand. I want to say happy Tuesday to everyone. And this has been one historic pay-per-view. I just cannot believe what we had saw on All Out. It was absolutely one of the most fantastic pay-per-views I've seen. It gets straight A's across the board from me. And I'm looking forward to reviewing this pay-per-view. And, you know, when it was all over, I just couldn't sleep. I didn't get to bed till like 3, 4 in the morning.
You're telling me.
It was just, it was just, I don't know who was up or whatever. I had to tweet about it. I had to Facebook it. I had to do everything that I can just to hype up the excitement. I mean, it was just absolutely one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen. And hats off to AEW. I mean, they deserve all the credit in the world for pulling off this pay-per-view. Absolutely.
You know, it's pretty crazy how it's all worked out. AEW has really taken the professional wrestling world by storm. It has been a real pleasure to watch the journey of when this company first started and where it is now. And I really couldn't sleep myself. I'm not even going to lie. I'm actually trying to formulate the correct words, and I'm not usually a man that's at a loss for words, but I really am after a show that we saw a couple nights ago on a pay-per-view. And I tweeted out after the show, if you saw, I know a couple people saw, and a couple people, it got a fair amount of retweets and likes. I tweeted out, the last thing I tweeted out before I tried to go to sleep was, AEW has single-handedly changed the landscape of professional wrestling. It's time that people either get on board or stop watching and associating yourself with pro wrestling altogether. History was made. What an incredible pay-per-view. Hashtag AEW All Out. And that tweet... What'd you say?
I like that. It's well said.
I tweeted that out, right? And it really does hold true, whether people want to admit it or not. And the main reason why people tend to get mad at me, I know I say it a lot, and it may sound rather repetitive, it may sound rather redundant, but a lot of people hate me because I speak the truth. There's two reasons, actually. There's two reasons why people get hate in this world. They either A, speak stupidity, or B, speak the truth. With me, it's the latter. I speak the truth, people get mad at me. I get mad at others when they speak stupidity. What happened with AEW All Out, whether people want to admit it or not, AEW All Out single-handedly shook the foundation of professional wrestling, whether you want to admit it or not. At the end of the day, there's absolutely nothing that you can say that is going to validate any sort of hatred, any sort of negativity towards AEW. AEW right now, they're the #1 pro wrestling promotion on the planet. I don't give a shit what any WWE cocksucker has to say. I don't give a shit about the New Japan Pro Wrestling marks. I don't give a shit about the 50 people that watch Impact on a regular basis. I don't give a shit about the 25 fans that Ring of Honor still has. AEW right now is the number one pro wrestling promotion right now. And if you are going to try and discredit them, if you're going to try and hate on them, if you are looking at AEW in a negative fashion after what we saw on Sunday, you are either a WWE ball tickler, you are not a pro wrestling fan, you are still stuck in the 90s, or you're just a flat-out retard like I usually call a lot of people. So at the end of the fucking day, it's either time that you get on board or you get out the fucking way, because AEW right now is a fucking Mack truck that's charging down the freeway, and if you don't get down, if you don't get out of the way, you're gonna get fucking steamrolled. They are on fucking fire right now. And if you thought 2021 was fucking crazy, I mean, I don't even know what they have planned for 2022. You think about this. They're only 2 years old. This is just the tip of the iceberg, bro. This is just the tip of the iceberg, if you can believe that.
You know, I have to agree with all of your assessment. And the thing is that I've been following this company since the beginning. And I went to their first show in Philadelphia. And I am a fan of this company. And after what I saw this Sunday night, I have to tell you, it solidified everything for me. And I will defend any hater who wants to come on my show and defend this company, because I will debate them down. I mean, there's just nothing that you can do to hate on this company. This company respects their product. They respect their superstars. They respect their division. It's not in shambles like the WWE now. There's nothing you could say negative about this company. Absolutely nothing. And let me tell you something. As a fan of wrestling for over 40 years, I was in tears. I was elated. I was happy. It was just all emotions just came out at me all at once, because I'm looking at an organization who knows how to book correctly, who knows how to put feuds correctly, who knows how to give the fans what they deserve and what their ticket prices deserve. And it's just absolutely solidified everything for me. It absolutely just sewn everything up for me last Sunday night. I never, ever, ever seen moments like I saw in All Out. It was absolutely 100% quickly done for me. And I agree with everything you said. I absolutely agree with it. If you don't like this company, you don't belong in wrestling. You should not be a fan of wrestling. You should not be a fan of anything related to wrestling. You should just get out of the business and retire or do something else with your life. But you should not be a wrestling fan if you didn't like what this company did. They gave you their heart and soul, and that's exactly what they did.
It's quite laughable to me, and which we're gonna try not to spend too much time on this, but it's quite laughable to me how some people can defend the bullshit that we see on Monday and Friday, outside of a few things here and there, but they don't find any enjoyment in what pro wrestling on Wednesday night and Friday nights now at 10 p.m. Eastern Time has to offer. And then, of course, there are these fucking people that hate both WWE and AEW, and they say that everything sucks. At this rate, it's just downright sad at this rate. You have to be a fucking lonely, bitter fuck if you are telling me that you did not enjoy anything on Sunday. And more so now than ever, I know a couple people are going to be saying this throughout the community, man. A couple people are going to be saying this is the fact that the whole concept of sports entertainment, it's pretty much dead after Sunday. It was a lame, cheap farce. It was a lame, cheap farce that Vince McMahon created to mask his fucking failures and any failure that he may have had after he created the concept to try and become more mainstream and gain more money. The one thing that a lot of people don't even realize is the fact that with companies like this, the money's always going to be there. I hate when people always fucking justify WWE with, oh, they're making all this money. Who fucking cares? the money's always going to be there. It's not about the fucking money. If you are an established company and you got a large fucking following and a large fucking fan base, you got television deals, you got sponsorships, you got all this fucking notoriety, then at the end of the day, the money's always going to be there. You don't need to make that your number one focus because it's always going to be there. It's all about giving back to the fans that have poured money into your product to make your product as notable as it is. And that's what AEW has been doing. You have so many people a part of the executive team that actually care about the fans. They care about the quality of their product. They care about what they're producing on a week-to-week basis. And that is the deciding factor as to why AEW has become so successful in such a short amount of time. And I can't wait until we are in the dead center of a 5 to 10 year run with AEW. I can't wait to see how they are after 5 to 10 years. And they've got ratings at least at 2 million. I'm telling you, wrestling right now, it's going into a boom period, if not already. It really is going into a boom period, if not already. And I am extremely excited to see what the future holds for this company, especially going into the fall and the winter. They gave you every reason to be excited and every single reason to be invested in what they're doing, especially at the entire way this card was laid out. I don't usually say that things are done perfectly, but the way that they mapped out this card from the beginning to the end was absolutely perfect. Everything just flowed very, very nicely, and I apologize to the people watching. A little bit of technical issues on Earl's side with his video. Thankfully, his audio is coming in good, so hopefully we'll get that squared away, and hopefully that's not an issue throughout the entire video. I am a perfectionist. I usually try not to have any fuck-ups throughout my videos, but we're going to get through this review. We got a lot to talk about and a lot to go over, but I want to get your thoughts. What are your overall thoughts on the pay-per-view? What are your thoughts on the way that they've mapped out this pay-per-view? And what are your thoughts on this concept of sports entertainment just being dead and professional wrestling really going into a boom period?
Well, first of all, let me just say one thing, and I'll. Sports.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out there for a little bit. You're cutting out there for a little bit here. Can you repeat that from the beginning? I apologize again for the technical difficulties, people.
Sports entertainment, to me, is a marketing subliminal tool. It is used for gimmick purposes. It is used for you to tune in and to see exactly what this company means by their mission statement. I don't think glitz and glamour brings in ratings as much as the wrestling does. At the end of the day, the WWE is all about glitz and glamour. They're not about wrestling.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's what's suffering right now is the wrestling. If you do less fluff and more of the component, which is the wrestling, then you would have had a successful run at it. AEW does not believe in sports entertainment. They believe in wrestling. If you're going to pay money to see a wrestling event, that's exactly what you're going to get is a wrestling event. You're not going to get glitz and glamour. You're not going to get a rock and roll band coming out on stage and entertaining the audience. The WWE believes in doing that. They believe in bringing out a DJ, a woman, a man, or whatever to entertain the audience. This is not going to give you ratings. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not what a wrestling organization is supposed to be doing. This is why I use the hashtag, what are you doing, WWE?
I was waiting to see how long you were going to take to bring that up. I was just waiting.
This is the reason why I use it. I use it often, and I use it heavily. And I think everyone else should use it as well. The way the card was mapped out, as you said, and I agree with you perfectly. It was the way they had the energy level of the audience and the way they grabbed their energy. And each and every single match had an energy level to it. The crowd wasn't dead. It wasn't silenced. They didn't like what they didn't see. They loved everything. They souped it up. They drank it. They drank everything. They took them on a journey. And each and every match had an energy level to it. And it matched the intensity of what was in the ring. And this is what a successful organization does. This is what you would call a wrestling darling organization. Coming out and showing you their prowess. They're showing you their power and what they can do. And I was absolutely floored. And I was absolutely gobsmacked at what they were able to produce. Now, I think that is correct, that sports entertainment is dead, because it's not entertaining anymore. It's not anything to do with wrestling. At the end of the day, you want wrestling. You want to see compelling matches. You want to see edge of your seat action. And this is what the WWE is lacking. But this organization, unfortunately, knows exactly what to do with it. And they know how to pull at your heartstrings and pull at your emotions and get you invested and get you excited. So overall, I think on an energy level, they did an excellent job in pulling these matches together and putting it in the correct match list and just giving the audience exactly what they deserve.
I think that what they're going to do going forward is they're definitely going to look back on this pay-per-view and they're going to use this as a foundation of how can we top what we did here. And that's what I absolutely love about AEW is they're always looking to outdo what they did. But All Out 2021, definitely a fantastic show. Absolutely the best pay-per-view of the year. Probably the most important pay-per-view in the last decade or so in pro wrestling, and it will absolutely go down as one of the best pay-per-views of this modern era in any pro wrestling company. I don't think any pro wrestling company is going to be able to top All Out in like the next 10, 20 years. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot to top a show like this, but we're going to get into the specifics. We are going to get into the matches. We're going to go match by match. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about where certain individuals will end up. We're going to talk about the winners. We're going to talk about the losers. We're going to talk about everything in between. Mostly good, very few bad. But first things first, Earl Cole, where can we find you on social media?
That's very simple. You can find me on social media at Twitter at WWE Earl C on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram at EarlC99. You can find me on Facebook on the DJ Storms Posse page, where I am a senior administrator on the page. I always give you news, rumors, and reports. And trust and believe me, we have a lot of news, rumors, and reports out there right now. And it's not about AEW. It's really about WWE. So that's where you can find me. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. And you can always make me a friend on Facebook. Oh, and also you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. And, of course, I have a show called The Wrestling Experience. It's on Facebook and it's on YouTube. And you can always check that out on my channel.
Be sure to check all those links, which are in the description, people. Check out all the social medias. Check out his YouTube channel. As far as I go, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the DJ_Storms. Add me on Facebook for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, stormstakeover@gmail.com, like the official DJ Storms business page, and I'll send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook, of course, where Mr. Earl Cole is a senior administration member of. On Sunday afternoon, before All Out, I actually attended an Independent Superstars of Pro Wrestling show. It was a great show, actually. Very, very entertaining show. I got to take a picture with Sergeant Slaughter, and he put me in the Cobra Clutch, which was pretty fun. A pretty surreal moment for me right there. I got to see a lot of I got to see a lot of former WWE superstars. I got to see Rikishi. I got to see Gene Snitsky. I got to see former Tough Enough member Maven. I got to see Crowbar. I got to see Vicious Vicky beat Gabby Ortiz in the main event to become the first ever ISPW Women's Champion. So it was a very, very fun time. Got to catch up with a couple old friends from the old Rescue Mania shows. Hopefully I'll be back doing commentary for Rescue Mania very, very soon. We are, I believe, almost 15 minutes, maybe even more, into the video. I'm not keeping track of the time right here. But people, if you have not already done so, please make sure you hit the like button. I know we're having some technical difficulties here, but come on. We are talking about AEW All Out. This was the biggest pay-per-view of the fucking year. Please make sure you hit that like button if you have not already done so. Please make sure you are keeping the chat alive. Hit the like button. Share out the stream on all platforms of social media. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, Pinterest, Tumblr, whatever social media platforms that you may use. Get as many people in here as possible. Earl Cole knows what I'm going to say next. Dogs, cats, and guinea pigs, of course. Because guinea pigs, man, when they're exposed to DJ Storms and Earl Cole, they are said to live long, happy, healthy, and fruitful lives. Of course, hit that subscribe button and hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, of course, it is the best time to be on YouTube. The only time you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn shin strap combo. This beautiful mustache right here. Earl Cole, this is your favorite part of the show right here. And a little bit of and a whole lot of Everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. You already know the drill, man. You already know the drill.
Oh, man.
Another thing. Me and Earl Cole, we will both be in attendance next week, September 15th, on Wednesday for the AEW Dynamite debut in Newark, New Jersey. We were planning on a dinner, but apparently the pandemic shut down the spot that we were supposed to host our dinner at. We are currently working on finding a new place. Have you actually found a new place? Is there any other place around there?
I was looking at this place that's right across from the Prudential Center. It's called Beer Garden. It's like a restaurant kind of a thing, and I believe that they're still open. So I'm going to investigate it further and give them a call. Apparently they don't take reservations. You just walk in there. So
well, that's not the worst thing in the world. I know you said you're going to be around the tri-state area in Newark. You're going to be around there by 4 p.m. I think we can organize something for like 5 p.m. What was the place called again?
I'd have to get back to you on that. I don't remember the name of it. I know it's the Beer Garden.
Beer Garden, okay.
It's right across. Yeah, it's right across from the Prudential Center.
Okay. We're going to keep you guys updated on that. If anyone is going to the AEW Dynamite show in Newark, New Jersey, please let either of us know, and we will put you on tap to join us for dinner before Dynamite. Hopefully, we'll be able to set that up. If not, I'll still be around. He'll still be around. I'll be giving away free wristbands. I'll be doing a vlog. It's going to be damn good. It's going to be a fun time. It'll be my first ever AEW show. It'll be the first wrestling event that I've been to the first major wrestling event that I've been to in over 2 years. Well, the first event that I've been to in about 2 years was the ISPW show, which was a very, very fun show. Don't get me wrong. Hopefully I'll be able to go back there very, very soon. But I will keep you guys updated on that, as will Mr. Earl Cole. We have a lot to talk about. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into the review. We have the buy-in match with Jurassic Express, that is Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, and Wheeler Yuta versus Matt Hardy, Private Party, and the Hybrid 2. This was a 10-man tag team match, and this was pretty much made because of Andrade and Pac being pulled from the show, and the Casino Battle Royale for the women being placed on the main show, so they needed a buy-in match, so they just kind of threw this together. I'm going to hand this one over to Earl Cole, but first things first, let us go over the happenings within the match. So the HFO, they took over on Wheeler Yuta with a gin and juice by Private Party. Orange Cassidy was able to save it. He then gave a Hurricane Rana to Angelico with his hands in his pockets. Very nice spot right there. Matt Hardy came in with a Twist of Fate. Jungle Boy came in with a Brainbuster on Isaiah Cassidy. We had a chicken fight, quote-unquote, with the Hybrid 2 and Jurassic Express. Angelico had Jack Evans on his shoulder, and Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus had Jungle Boy on his shoulder. Cassidy then dove onto Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy reversed it and hit a moonsault slam off of Luchasaurus' shoulders. Marco's stunt then took out the Blade, and then Jungle Boy locked in the snare trap for the tap-out win. And then afterwards, the Butcher, he was out for about 7 months now. He made his return, and he helped the HFO take out the babyfaces. So the Butcher and the Blade, they are back, and they are a very good tag team. Very, very happy to see the Butcher back. Mr. Earl Cole, hopefully the technical difficulties don't last too much longer. What were your thoughts on this match and the return of the Butcher?
I thought the match was very good. I thought it had a lot of fluidity to it. I thought it had a lot of energy to it. I was not mad at the match at all. I think this was a great way to give the something to look forward to in the main card. And again, the match, I had no problems whatsoever. I had no issues whatsoever with this match, and the crowd was really into it. I love the chicken spot. I thought that was my favorite spot. I thought that was pretty cool. I'd never seen that done before in a tag match before. I thought that was pretty good. The moves were pretty good, and the chemistry in the ring was really good too. They all gelled well together. There was nobody there that looked awkward. You know, when you have those kind of 10-man tag matches, sometimes they do look awkward in the ring. It just looks off. Like something looks really off. But in this instance, no, they had no offness to it. I thought it was really good. I applaud it. I thought it was well thought out. And this get the crowd going. So I thought it was.
I'm sorry, like you cut out there for a little bit. Could you repeat that last line?
I just thought it was really good, and I thought that the audience really and truly deserved. They got what they deserved in that 10-man tag, and I thought it was really good. I gave it a thumbs up.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was a fun little match, but there really wasn't much to it. I'm not saying it was bad. There was just like no reason to go overboard. There was no reason to get overly excited about it. It was a fun little match, and this was pretty much a match that came about just out of nowhere because, again, Pac and Andrade got pulled from the show. This was mainly a tune-up match because you got Jurassic Express and Orange Cassidy in there, especially since that they're two of the hottest acts in the company right now. So, of course, you're going to put them on the show in some way, shape, or form just to get the crowd hyped up. But fun little match. Really nothing to it. Really nothing to go back and rewatch. It was just a little tune-up match. And then we got the Butcher returning afterwards. The Blade and the Butcher, they're not really going to move the needle in any way, but the fact that they're back, they are a very good tag team. They're very, very underrated at what they do. I'm very, very happy that they are back, actually. But I got to be honest with you, the Hardy Family Office, it just isn't working. The Hardy Family Office just feels like it's there. The Hardy Family Office does not have a purpose at all. And at the end of it, Matt Hardy, he's much better solo. He needs to be solo. And the tag teams, they just need to do their own thing in the division because this Hardy Family Office, it's just not clicking. It's just not clicking. That was mainly like the main thing that bothered me about this match. It was a fun match for what it was, but at the end of it all, the Hardy Family Office, there's just no steam behind them. No one's more over than they were before the Hardy Family Office. So at the end of it, the Hardy Family Office really just needs to break up.
I agree with that assessment. I agree with the assessment. and I just don't. I don't think that faction serves any purpose.
It doesn't.
And another thing too is, how come they never explain why they were put together in the first place? You see, that's the thing I don't understand. You see, when you have a faction is you're supposed to explain, like, why are you guys together? Why are you in a faction? And that was never explained to the audience. I don't understand that. I'm kind of like at a loss. Like, how did you gel these people together? Why were they put together? It was almost like, an afterthought.
I think it was like a segment back like 5 or 6 months ago or something like that, where Matt Hardy, he was giving like contracts to Private Party, and then he said, oh yeah, I brought in the Hybrid 2 and the Butcher and the Blade to the Hardy family office or something like that. It was just very, very random. I don't really know what it is, but again, Matt Hardy needs to be solo, and the tag teams, they need to do their own thing. Here's a question for you before we move on. Where can you see Jurassic Express and Orange Cassidy going in the future? With me, I can absolutely see Jurassic Express being built up as the top babyface team to win the tag team titles next year. Orange Cassidy's got to be a front runner to take the TNT Championship from Miro when the time is right, of course.
Yeah, I think those are two programs that they need to go into, and I think that's where their focus should be on the time. Orange Cassidy is, to me, one of the most entertaining person I've ever seen in the ring. I just get giddy every time he's in the ring because I don't know what he's gonna do. I mean, even in that match with Statlander, the way he was screaming at her, I was just surprised that they came from him because he's so well-mannered. I was like, I didn't expect
he's a lazy
to
wrestler.
see that from him.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. But like, no, he cared because it was for the women's championship. He's gotta cheer on the Galaxy's greatest alien right there.
Yeah, I just thought I was just blown away by that. It's like you've seen him so well-mannered. I never knew he was so fired up. He was like, my goodness. I was like, wow. But I agree with you. I agree with your assessment, and I think those are the two avenues that they need to explore.
We'll definitely talk more about Statlander and Britt Baker when we get to that. But that was the buy-in match. Again, really nothing to it. Fun match, but again, really nothing to it. Main show started off. This is where we really started to get into the good stuff. Miro versus Eddie Kingston for the TNT Championship kicked off the show. Now, this was the perfect opener for the show. Kingston and Miro, it didn't really have much build, but the promos that they were going that they had back and forth the last couple weeks, they actually did a very good job building up this match in such a short amount of time. And again, the one thing that I love about Miro, and I talked about this on the rundown with Abiki, shout out to him. The one thing that I love with what they're doing with Miro is the fact that they're having people that they're not having people go after him. He is calling out others. He, as a champion, is going out of his way to find opponents. Usually it's the other way around, but no, they're having Miro go out of his way to take out other people, and that's how you make your talent and your champions look strong. Miro is doing that TNT Championship very, very, very well, and I cannot wait to see what he has planned in the future. But this was the first match on the show. This is for the TNT Championship. We had Kingston in control early with a nice exploder suplex. Kingston then dove off the apron. Miro caught him with a nice power slam on the floor. Miro then took over by sending Eddie Kingston back first into the ring post. Miro tried to wear Kingston down before Kingston got hit with a drop kick by Miro. Kingston then came back with an enziguri and a big Saito suplex. Kingston with rapid-fire chops. We had two Saito suplexes. That got a 2 count. Eddie Kingston then hit a very nice tope suicida, and his elbow actually hit the neck of Miro. That was the main thing that the commentators were hyping up, is Miro's neck. We had a fisherman suplex for a 2. Miro then with a German suplex and a super kick. He went for the game over, and he locked in the game over, but Eddie Kingston was able to get to the ropes. Kingston, then with the spinning back fist and a DDT, Bryce Remsburg, the referee, was dealing with the turnbuckle pad that came off towards the end of this matchup. Then he saw that Kingston made the cover. Miro just kicked out. Miro was then going for the turnbuckle. Miro was going to get sent into the turnbuckle. Bryce Remsburg stepped in between Eddie Kingston and Miro. Miro, with a low blow out of the referee's line of sight, and then he hit a running super kick to retain the TNT Championship. Now, the match overall went about 14 minutes. The match overall was very good. This was actually Miro's best match as TNT Champion to date, but I don't understand why they had that ref spot in this match. The ref spot, that's the only thing that really just left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth here, and I don't understand why that was done. I don't mind the fact that Miro won with the low blow because, again, Miro, for the most part, has been very, very dominant. Eddie Kingston has been Miro's first challenge ever since Lance Archer. All the other matches were pretty much just enhancement matches for Miro. But Eddie Kingston's been Miro's first challenge since Lance Archer, and Eddie Kingston was actually taking it to Miro. So I didn't mind that Miro won with the low blow, but the fact that they had that ref spot in there, and you knew something clearly was going to happen, it just was very, very unnecessary. I understand what they were doing, but it was just very, very unnecessary. Very good match regardless of that. Miro retains the TNT Championship. Right outcome. Miro should not be losing that TNT Championship anytime soon. And I can absolutely see him going into a program with the potential Orange Cassidy, potentially Sammy Guevara, if they want to go that route. I don't really know who else they have lined up for Miro, though. It's going to be very interesting to see who else they have lined up. But, again, very good match. But the ref spot, completely unnecessary. The ref spot really kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. It really made Bryce Remsburg look like an idiot. I don't really know why they did that. But, Earl Cole, what are your thoughts on the opening matchup for the TNT Championship between Kingston and Miro?
I'm going to agree with all of your assessment. Now, except for one thing. That ref spot that was there, I think what he was doing is he didn't want Kingston to throw Miro into the exposed turnbuckle, and both men would have gotten injured or something screwy would have happened. They want to finish. So this is why the referee stepped in and did what he had to do. I understood what they were doing. Attention to detail in the ending of the match was necessary.
No,
and this is what I
listen,
like about AEW.
I get that, but we knew something was clearly going to happen. I get what he was doing, but the whole spot in general was unnecessary because we clearly knew something was going to go down as soon as he did that. It just kind of made him look stupid because we knew that he was going to step in, Miro was going to blind him and hit the low blow on Kingston behind the referee's back. It just came off as completely unnecessary. I understand what they were going for. It was just completely ridiculous, just the way that it came off. They could have done without that. Other than that, it was still a very good match to kick off the show.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. But, sometimes you when you're in a match, sometimes you forget, that this is the end, and sometimes you need to do something else to protect the ending. So I understand what they were doing there. The match had a lot of fluidity to it, and I love it. I love Miro. I just love when he's so dominant on the pay-per-views.
He's great.
I absolutely love it.
He's God's favorite champion.
It reminds me of Roman Reigns. It reminds me of Roman Reigns when he's on pay-per-view and how dominant he is and how vicious he can be when it's necessary. This match was really good. I love the back and forth. I thought it was really thought-provoking. I thought it was well thought out. I thought the right ending was correct. And, Kingston will have more matches on his belt. He's gonna be a champion one day. I'm not sure what, but he's he's good at what he does. He's unpredictable. He's pounding ground, balls to the wall. You don't know what he's gonna do next. You really don't. And I like him. I really do. I like his matches. He has finesse. So
I actually said that in a tweet, I actually tweeted out something along the lines of Miro does not get the credit that he deserves as an in-ring performer, because this was absolutely Miro's best match as the TNT champion throughout his entire reign thus far. Miro, he does not get enough appreciation, or Eddie Kingston rather. Miro's great at what he does. He's been doing some excellent work. He's on the run of his life right now. But Eddie Kingston, not a lot of people give Eddie Kingston enough appreciation for what he can do in the ring. He is very, 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 very underappreciated as an in-ring performer, and he did a very good job at making Miro look great. And this was a damn good open, minus the ref spot. It was a damn good open to AEW All Out. Set the pace very, very nicely. And they didn't go overboard. They did not go overboard. I like the fact that they just eased people into it. They didn't go completely overboard with this match, and they eased people into it little by little by little. And the next match was pretty much the same thing. Next match, we had Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. Now, this was part of the Forbidden Door initiative that AEW has going on with New Japan and Impact. They had Satoshi come in. This went about 12 minutes, and this was actually a very fun match for what it was. This was a very fun match for what it was. Jon Moxley and Satoshi Kojima didn't really have too much build, didn't really have too much interest, but the crowd was very, very into it. They appreciated what Satoshi Kojima and Jon Moxley were doing here. Moxley took over with a tope suicida rather early on Kojima. Moxley then tried to target the hand of Satoshi Kojima. Kojima then with some machine gun chops and a diving elbow for a 2. Kojima then with a superplex to Moxley. Kojima with a DDT on the apron and then into the ring. That got a 2 count. Crowd was chanting for both men. Kojima then hit a brain buster. That got a 2 count. Moxley came back with a German suplex, but then he was caught with a lariat and then a Koji cutter. Both men were down. Crowd was clapping and cheering for both men. Moxley then came back with a King Kong lariat for a 2, and then he locked in the Bulldog choke. Kojima was able to get to the ropes. Kojima missed the lariat attempt. Moxley then with a paradigm shift and then a second one, and Jon Moxley wins. A very, very fun match between the two. Wasn't all that crazy. It didn't really need to be. It was just two guys who are great pro wrestlers doing what they do best, and that is wrestling. Jon Moxley got the win as he should. Afterwards, we had Minoru Suzuki out of nowhere. Minoru Suzuki came out, and the crowd was chanting, "Holy shit." Suzuki then took his shirt off, and this was extremely fucking entertaining right here. He started having a strike-off with Jon Moxley. Suzuki was laughing right in Moxley's face, and then Moxley, he laughed in Suzuki's face to get right back at him. Moxley went for a lariat. Suzuki then locked in a rear naked choke and then hit a Gotch-style pile driver to Jon Moxley. This was fucking awesome. Very, very, very entertaining stuff right here between Suzuki and Jon Moxley. I was not expecting Suzuki to come out there. I'm very happy that he did, actually. And now I'm actually very much looking forward to seeing what Suzuki and Moxley do tomorrow, because Suzuki is facing Jon Moxley in Jon Moxley's homecoming in Cincinnati tomorrow on September 8th. But the match with Kojima, very, very, very fun for what it was. Didn't really need to be all that crazy, like I said. They did a very good job. Two guys going in there and doing what they do best, wrestling. And then the brawl with Suzuki, highly fucking entertaining. And I can't wait to see what Suzuki and Moxley do in their match tomorrow. Earl Cole, the floor is yours. What were your thoughts on this match and the brawl with Suzuki afterwards?
The brawl with Suzuki, that was just absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love the chops that they were giving each other. I absolutely just love it. By the way, FYI to everyone in Cincinnati, if you want to see this match, The last time I checked, they only had 187 tickets left for the Dynamite show. So that just told you right then and there what AEW is all about.
Get those tickets, people.
I love the spot. I absolutely loved it. That's right. I absolutely loved the spot. I absolutely did. I thought it was fantastic. When he came out, that was one of many surprises that we were going to get an All Out. But other than that, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. The match itself was just like a Christmas present. You know, it was very, very goodly wrapped. It wasn't sloppy. There was no botches. There was nothing to get upset about. I love the match. It was a delight. Moxley is one of those people that he's like a whirling dervish. You just don't know what you're gonna get with him in the ring. You really don't. You really know what you're gonna get in the ring with him when you get in there. And I love the interaction between the two of them. I thought it was very good. I have nothing negative to say about the match. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it for what it was. 14 minutes was good enough for me, and the two paradigm shifts at the end, and he wrapped it up, put the Christmas present back underneath the tree, and he was going about his business.
There's no more you could say about that. Here's a question, though. Satoshi Kojima, this is probably just a one-off for him. Where can you see Jon Moxley going after this? Because obviously he's not going into a feud with Satoshi Kojima going into Full Gear. Do you think he's probably going to take some time off to care for his family, or do you think he could possibly go into a different feud going into Full Gear? I have a theory. Considering that Adam Hangman Page, he's going to come back win the World Championship from Kenny Omega, MJF is obviously going to be in top contention to take that title off of Page. But you're not just going to put MJF right up against Page right out of the gate, because that would be booking yourself into a corner. What you'd have to do is you would have to keep MJF occupied for the time being. So could you see potentially Jon Moxley facing off against MJF in a rematch from All Out in 2020, and we could possibly see MJF get occupied that way, at least until Page is ready to drop that championship?
Yeah, that's possible. I can see that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that I want to ask you. Would it make sense to have Moxley and MJF fight for the number one contendership for Omega's title?
Not now, no, because Omega, he is inevitably dropping that championship to Page, and the reason why he is not doing it now is because Page is currently at home caring for his wife, who's about to give birth. Jon Moxley, he's already had his time in the sun. He's not in the top 5 rankings. MJF, he just lost to Jericho. That was only his second loss in AEW history, though, so it's not really too concerning. But still, he should not be anywhere near the World Championship, because you're not going to do a heel versus heel, especially with the top 2 heels in the company. You're not going to do that. That's going to completely send everything into a tailspin. But as of right now, Moxley, he's in a position where he doesn't need to win matches. He doesn't really need to be in the spotlight. This is why he was facing Satoshi Kojima. He was facing Satoshi Kojima because of the simple fact that he is in a showcase match with a guy that's going to give New Japan Pro Wrestling some shine on AEW. Jon Moxley's had his day. He doesn't need to be in the title picture. He doesn't need to be taking up a spotlight now. He's in a position where he's putting people over. That's why he lost at Double or Nothing with against the Young Bucks. That's why he lost the IWGP United States Championship to Lance Archer. And that's why he should be in a position where he should put over a guy like MJF if they want to. Maybe a guy like Darby, I don't know. Maybe a guy like Malachi Black, if they want to have Malachi Black go in against Jon Moxley. That would be a great match in its own right. It's very, very, very interesting, and I can't wait to see what they do. But As far as Jon Moxley right now, again, he does not need to be in a position where he's winning consistent matches. He doesn't need to be in the title picture. I don't know where he goes as of right now, but as of right now, Omega is not dropping that championship to anyone but Adam Hangman Page.
So would you then book Moxley against CM Punk?
Probably a little bit too early for that. I don't know where CM Punk is going to fit into at Full Gear. I'm actually going to talk about that a little bit later based on what happened after his match with Darby. It should be rather interesting, but we'll talk about CM Punk a little bit later when we get to his match. But where can you see Jon Moxley going? Can you see him going against MJF, or can you see him going against somebody else?
No, I agree with your assessment. I think MJF is the right fit for him right now. I can't see anybody else on the landscape that I would say, hey, this is what Moxley's supposed to do. I can't see anything else for him at this point. I mean, not unless they keep opening that forbidden door to New Japan, and they keep bringing in the New Japan people to take him on. That's something that they could travel on that road. But other than that, I don't see anything else for Moxley. I can't picture it.
If they want to, I definitely would not mind if they do Moxley versus someone like a Miro. If they want to do Miro, they could absolutely do Miro and have Jon Moxley put over Miro just to enhance Miro and his TNT title reign. I do believe Jon Moxley will probably be a TNT champion at some point, but just not yet. But I'm actually very interested in seeing what they do. Next match, we had the Women's World Championship being defended between Kris Statlander and Britt Baker. And let me tell you something. This right here, yes, DMD. Of course, you already know the drill. This was actually Britt Baker's best women's match as champion thus far. We already know that the Thunder Rosa match with Britt Baker will always be the number one match when it comes to the AEW women's division. We already know that. But in terms of straight up one-on-one wrestling, in terms of a wrestling standpoint, this was the best women's wrestling match that I think I've seen in AEW thus far. Both of these women are fucking awesome, and both of these women did a very, very, very nice job following the first two matches, and they were placed in a perfect spot on the card where they weren't going to get overshadowed. These two women did a very good job. So Baker took over with an elevated fisherman neckbreaker. Statlander was on the defense. Baker came in with a sling blade. Statlander came back with a Falcon Arrow for a 2. Baker with a DDT for a close 2 count. Statlander got stood up right on the top of her head. Statlander then with a roundhouse kick. Britt came back with a flatliner into the buckle. Baker and Statlander were on the top rope, and Statlander, it almost looked like she was about to drop Britt Baker, but she recovered very, very nicely. Statlander with a superplex from the middle rope. Statlander then went for the Area 451 splash. Baker dodged it. Baker then locked in the crossface. Statlander then reversed it and hoisted her up into a forward electric chair drop, and then she had a nice axe kick. Britt still kicked out. Britt then dodged Statlander's apron moonsault, and this was a nice spot right here. Baker launched herself off the steel steps into a curb stomp on the floor to Kris Statlander. Very nice spot right there. Statlander just beat the count as Orange Cassidy was cheering her on. We then saw Baker getting locked in the spider crab. Baker freed herself, and then she hit the Panama Sunrise. Little tribute to Bay there. I had no idea he was showing up at the show, but that was just a little tease for what was to come later on. So she hit the Pittsburgh Sunrise. But Statlander still kicked out. Statlander then was on the receiving end of another curb stomp. She still kicked out. At the end of it all, Britt Baker locked Kris Statlander in the lock jaw, and she passed out. She did not get pinned. She did not tap out. She passed out. And let me tell you something. The one thing that I absolutely love about AEW, and they've been doing it better than anyone in the wrestling industry right now. AEW knows how to protect their wrestlers. Statlander was on the run of her life right now. She was 18-0 since coming back from injury in March, and she hadn't lost a match. She was dominant. She was physical. She was always coming out on top no matter what. She beat Hater and Rebel in a 2-on-1 handicap match on Rampage a couple nights ago before All Out. So you knew that Britt Baker, there was no way that Britt Baker was going to be able to pin Statlander to the mat 1, 2, 3, and she wasn't making Statlander tap out. So what happened? Statlander's body gave out on her. On the receiving end of a Panama Sunrise, a curb stomp, and then at the end of it, a lockjaw. Statlander's body just could not handle anymore, and she passed out. That's what I love about All Elite Wrestling. They know how to protect their wrestlers. Statlander, she remained looking strong, and she's looked great since coming back from injury. She has looked fantastic since coming back from injury, and I'm very, very interested in seeing what Statlander has to offer going into the future. She will be women's champion, but I don't think it's going to be just yet. I believe that towards the end of next year, she'll be in top contention of winning that Women's World Championship. But this was a very good match. I would even say that this was probably the best overall match up to this point in the show. Up to this point in the show, this was the best overall match. This was Britt Baker's best match as champion. This was Statlander's best match in AEW thus far. Both women did great. Baker retains, rightfully so, and Statlander looks strong in defeat. Mr. Cole, let me hear you. What did you think of this match and the ending?
I absolutely agree with you. And let me tell you something. I have to applaud that assessment, because that was just absolutely brilliant by you, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And I loved that sunrise she did from the top rope. That was absolutely brilliant. That was brilliant. You never knew that she had that in her. See, this is what I love about AEW wrestlers. They come out with these surprise things that you would never thought that this person would do. And I loved it. I absolutely loved that spot. That was my favorite spot of the match. The match itself, the way they protected her in the end, I thought that was brilliant. You know, it's always about attention to detail when you are booking a match. And I love AEW, the way they have attention to detail. You know, WWE Division who? Women's who? I mean,
fuck WWE. They ain't doing anything. They got fucking Eva Marie on Monday Night Raw with fucking Dewdrop doing 2-minute fucking matches. They got Nikki Cross running around like a goddamn superhero. And then you got fucking Alexa Bliss playing with a paper mache doll. Fuck WWE's vision of women's wrestling.
I mean, this was just absolutely the correct thing to do to Statlander, and yeah, I think that this match just I'm so giddy over the whole thing that I'm just lost for words. I just don't even know what to say. It was just like
we're gonna be talking about the cage match next, so save your energy, brother.
Dude, don't even get me started with that. Dude. Don't even get me started. It was just absolutely breathtaking, and I loved the match, and I gave it a thumbs up. I don't have any critique about it. I don't have anything. There was nothing botched about it. Everything was good. Good soup all around. It was served well. It was giving the audience the right ending, and I don't have anything to say. Britt Baker is just absolutely, she's good. She's really good. And so is Statlander. Yeah, I can see Statlander at the end of next year getting that AEW title. I can see that. I could really see her getting her moment in the sun with that.
So we pretty much know who's going to be in Britt Baker's future. We got a match with Ruby Soho, and here's a question that here's a question I want to ask. There's a rumor going around. Dave Meltzer reported that Thunder Rosa is going to be Britt Baker's opponent at the Revolution show next year. Now, I don't necessarily mind that because that pretty much means that Britt Baker's going to get a long-winded title reign, which I don't mind. But here's a question, though. Who do you put up against Britt Baker at Full Gear? Because there's nobody outside of Rosa that really screams pay-per-view worthy match for Britt Baker. They could do someone like a Ty Conti. They could do someone like an Anna Jay, but I don't think they're at that level yet, at least. Maybe they prove me wrong. Who knows? But Ruby Soho, I don't see the match with Ruby Soho taking place at Full Gear. I see that taking place on a Dynamite sometime before Full Gear. Maybe it takes place in Arthur Ashe Stadium because they're going to load that show up to be a big show. They're not just going to go into that show half-assed. They're going to load up that show to make it seem like a show that's just as big, if not bigger, than what they're doing with their pay-per-views. It's huge. Arthur Ashe Stadium could very well be their biggest Dynamite to date. So at the end of it all, you are going to want to load that show. And I think that Ruby Soho is going to get that match with Britt Baker in Arthur Ashe Stadium. But as far as the match with Rosa goes, I don't know when it's going to take place. It's going to take place sometime between Full Gear and Revolution. But what do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's going to take place at Full Gear, or do you think that Meltzer's going to end up being proven correct and it's going to be at Revolution and Thunder Rosa is going to win the title at Revolution?
Well, first of all, that Thunder Rosa thing, I don't know if you saw my prediction show that I did with Cameron. We were discussing this. And I had said, and Cameron and I agreed on it, that match should be saved for Revolution. That match should not be taking place on a Dynamite. It should not be taking place at Full Gear. It should be saved for Revolution. And that's the right call on that. As far as the match is concerned with Ruby, I can see that taking place they're either going to put that on in Newark, or they're going to do it in Arthur Ashe, or they're going to do it in Rochester. So there are 3 places where they can do that. They can put that on. There is a rumor, and it's only a rumor out there, that for one night only, because this is a big show in Arthur Ashe, that Dynamite will be ended to 3 hours. Now, again, that's a rumor. That is a rumor. That is a rumor. And if that is the case, if they want to make this big and they want to expand it to 3 hours for one night only, we could see something very special in the 3 hours. So, but as far as from the roster is concerned, no, I agree with Meltzer. I think that Revolution is the right call for that pay-per-view. As far as her next opponent, I would probably say, without a shadow of a doubt, that Nyla Rose is somebody that needs to have a conversation.
She's already been in that title picture before. Britt already beat her. You can't really go back to it.
Yeah, I understand that, but then my whole question: who is pay-per-view worthy? Who is the person or the audience? You need somebody.
You could do a rematch with Shida just to get Baker through the show.
Right. Would you then do Riho?
You could possibly do Riho because again, Riho is just an individual that's going to be used to enhance others. She's not there to win championships anymore because she already won the championship. Rio's there to add depth. Riho is there to add depth to the women's division. So at the end of it all, Riho wouldn't be bad. Maybe they do Anna Jay. Maybe they give Anna Jay the opportunity. Who knows? Maybe they do. I definitely wouldn't mind it because again, there's potential in Anna Jay. There's definitely potential in Ty Conti as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they do. But yeah, I don't see Ruby Soho getting that title opportunity at Full Gear. They're not going to wait that long. It's going to be And it's going to be in Arthur Ashe Stadium because, again, they want to load that show up to be big. But as far as this match goes, this was a very good match. Baker retains, rightfully so. This was her best match as champion. Where can you see Statlander going? I can personally see Statlander as potentially a woman that's going to help get Jade Cargill over. Because Jade Cargill, she is going to be in that conversation possibly by the end of next year to take that title off of Thunder Rosa. So I can absolutely see Jade Cargill and Kris Statlander going into a program just to help get Jade more over than she is. Because she's coming along. She's not there yet, but she's coming along. Maybe we get a match between Jade and Nyla first.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's a possibility. Let me ask you something. What about Big Swole?
She is okay, but she's really not there yet. She's been featured more on Dark, and on top of that, she hasn't really been pushed too much because of her health complications with Crohn's.
And what about Abaddon?
Oh, God, no. Fuck that. She sucks. She sucks, dude. She sucks. She can't wrestle. She can't fucking wrestle. She's no better than Alexa Bliss.
Or Nia Jax.
No. You see, here's the thing. I take Abaddon over Nia Jax because at least Abaddon hasn't injured anyone.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck that match was on Monday Night Raw between Charlotte and Nia. Holy shit, was that bad. They made Paul White and QT Marshall look like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Randy Savage. That's how bad that match between Nia and Flair was. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was
I'm sorry. You cut out there for a minute. What'd you say?
Oh no, I said not good.
But I'll tell you what
Not
was
good.
good though. I'll tell you what was good though. The next match, the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros. This was a steel cage match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Mikey Ruckus, the official AEW musician and artist, he's the one that makes all the theme songs. He performed the Lucha Bros theme song, and the Lucha Bros, they came out with Rey Mysterio like WrestleMania 2006, WrestleMania 22 attire, which it looked great. This looked great. I actually loved the Lucha Bros entrance. They had the best entrance on the entire show, did the Lucha Bros. We had chaos starting right out of the gate. We had a big assisted Frankensteiner by Phoenix to Nick. The Bucks were then driven into the cage a couple times. The Bucks, they took over. They sent Penta into the cage. They powerbombed Phoenix into the cage. Phoenix then used the cage as a springboard to do an arm drag on Nick. Then we had a cutter by Penta, an over-the-top stunner by Matt, and he said, "Go to hell," or "See you in hell," to Penta, which was great. Then we had a stereo cutter by Phoenix, and then a pump handle driver by Penta. Matt just kicked out. The Bucks, then with an assisted rope senton for 2. We had a double super kick to Phoenix, sending him into the cage. A tombstone senton combo. The Lucha Bros stayed alive. Matt Jackson hit a low blow to both Phoenix and Penta. Crowd booed. We had more bang for your buck before Penta just saved it. They started to rip the masks off the Lucha Bros. Crowd chanted, "Fuck the Young Bucks," which was excellent. We had Cutler, Brandon Cutler that is, throwing in a bag to the Bucks, and it had sneakers with thumbtacks on them. Crazy shit right here. And Penta was already bleeding. They didn't give a shit. Penta put himself in front of Phoenix. Matt super kicked him. And then they sent Penta into the shoe with the tacks, and they just stuck it into him. The tacks stuck to his mask. We had a super kick to Rey Phoenix, Poison Rana, and then the BTE trigger. Phoenix just saved it. The crowd is going fucking insane. I don't even know what to think at this rate. Matt then took his shoe off. He missed the shot. Phoenix then came unglued, started taking out the Young Bucks. He took the shoe, and he stuck it to both Nick and Matt. So Nick and Matt both got thumbtacks right to the head. Crowd is going nuts. We then had a modified Muscle Buster Slam by Rey Fenix. Matt's still kicked out. So at this rate, shit is really getting crazy. Phoenix and Nick tried to climb the cage, but Matt and Penta took them and hit stereo pile drivers to them on the apron. Penta and Matt went up to the top. Penta with a Super Canadian Destroyer off the fucking top rope. Both men are down. Crowd still going nuts. Everyone started chopping and super kicking everyone. Hard to fucking keep up. Rey Fenix did a fucking kip up and a super kick, taking out Nick Jackson. Everyone was fucking kipping up and chopping and super kicking everyone. I couldn't fucking keep track of this shit. Fucking crazy shit. We had the Fear Factor connecting, but Matt Jackson saved it. Phoenix then went up to the top rope, and Penta held the Young Bucks. Rey Fenix, like a fucking madman, dove off the fucking cage and did a crossbody onto the Young Bucks. Then they hit the assisted pile driver, pinned Nick Jackson, and we have new AEW Tag Team Champions. Earl, I know you're itching to talk about this. I'm going to hand it over to you first. What were your thoughts on this match and the outcome?
I'm breathless. Just listening to you describe it. I mean, this was just so many spots in the match that I can't even keep up with it either. I mean, there was one point in the match where the bag was thrown in the cage, and he puts on the Nike, the spiked Nike sneaker, and I was like, what is he gonna do with that? And then when he super kicked him with it, I was like, I was like, what in the world is this? You know, if you guys did not understand, when I was on the CE podcast, you can listen to it on Spotify, by the way.
Yes.
I had predict that the Lucha Bros were going to win the tournament and then move into the cage. I was supposed to get shout out on Twitter for my prediction, but I did get my receipt, by the way. I did get my receipt. So I knew that they were going to go into this cage, but I had no idea. I had no idea that they were going to top the ladder match. I had no idea.
I didn't think they were going to, but man, they shut me up real quick.
Yeah, they did. Because I thought the ladder match was it. I don't know what more you could have done to each other in that ladder match that you could have did in the cage. But this was just absolutely, oh my God, it was just like, I don't know what to say. I don't even know what to describe it. I don't even know what to say.
It's fucking nuts. It's fucking crazy.
When it came to me and they were like, it was nuts. It was balls to the wall. It was just nuts. It was just absolutely crazy what was in there. But the right outcome happened. I knew that they were going to get the tag belts. I just knew that this was their moment. Because as you all know, that the Lucha Bros, every time they get up to that big spot, they don't get that big one. They don't win. They come within an eyelash and then they don't win. But this was their moment and they took it. And they gave the audience something that they will never forget. I mean, this cage match was absolutely wild. I mean, I don't even want to see any more steel cages after this. I just don't.
You know,
I just don't because I know
they keep their special matches. They keep these matches very, very special because this was only the second cage match in AEW history.
Yeah, and this is the first time that the tag belts were even defended inside of a cage. I mean, this was just absolutely crazy. This was crazy. Like I said, I don't want to ever see another steel cage match after I saw this. I really don't. I really don't, because I don't think anybody can top this. There's just no way. There's no way you can book this.
Might as well
There's no
retire
way
the
you
cage.
could do what they did. Yeah. I I mean, it's just absolutely crazy, man. I give it thumbs up. That's all I can say. It was thumbs up, A's across the board. I loved it, invested in it. I knew my prediction was going to come true, and this was just absolutely great. This was fantastic.
Now, yeah, this was absolutely the match of the night, but the outcome kind of shocked me. I'm not mad at the outcome, but it did kind of shock me because I actually thought that the Bucks were going to retain, and we were going to go into Arthur Ashe Stadium and see the Bucks versus Santana and Ortiz, with Santana and Ortiz and inevitably beating the Bucks. That's what I thought was going to happen, but apparently that did not happen. Now, I don't know where they go from here, but one thing I can absolutely see is I can see Proud and Powerful facing off against FTR one more time because they're tied. We get that match one more time in New York at Arthur Ashe in a New York City street fight. I can see Proud and Powerful winning, and then Proud and Powerful, they're absolutely going to be set up to win the tag team titles off of the Lucha Bros. But as of right now, what I can see happening is since the Lucha Bros won, Andrade's absolutely beating Pac on Rampage this Friday. Andrade's going to beat Pac at Rampage this Friday, and then Andrade's absolutely beating Omega for the AAA Mega Championship, and we're going to see Andrade and the Lucha Bros form a new Latino World Order. It's absolutely fucking happening, and they're going to look great now with the Lucha Bros with the Tag Team Championships. I cannot wait to see how they book the Lucha Bros going into Full Gear, but it really does seem like the only team that's worthy of the tag team title shot would be Proud and Powerful afterwards. And are they really going to have the Lucha Bros just drop the titles within 2 months? I don't know. I just don't want the Lucha Bros to have a short-winded championship title reign. I'm not a fan of those. Those rub me the wrong way. But I do hope that we do see that New York City street fight with Proud and Powerful and FTR. What'd you say? Oh, never mind. That's my voice coming, echoing through the thing. I apologize. But, I don't know where the Lucha Bros go, but I can absolutely see Proud and Powerful as a top contender, and the inevitable team to take the titles off of them. Should be a great story. That should be a great story being told right there. This was absolutely fucking incredible. If anything, this outdid their ladder match, and this outdid Page and Omega versus the Bucks back at Revolution in 2020. I think this match completely outdid that match at Revolution in 2020. And Lucha Bros, well deserved for the Lucha Bros. I'm very, very happy for the Lucha Bros. Very, very happy that the Lucha Bros finally got their just due. And I cannot wait to see that Latino World Order form with Andrade after Andrade beats Pac. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be damn good. It's gonna be damn fucking good. It is going to be excellent shit. So again, like I said, this was just absolutely well written. Again, I agree with everything you're saying. I do. I really do. I cannot wait to see what's next around the corner. So here's a question for you. Can you see the Lucha Bros dropping the titles rather quickly to Proud and Powerful, probably at Full Gear, or do they have another team face off against the Lucha Bros at Full Gear, and then we get the match with Proud and Powerful afterwards?
Again, like I said, on my prediction, me and Cameron this. You don't want them to drop the straps right now. It's just too soon to do that.
Yeah.
I don't like playing hot potato with titles. I don't like that storyline. I don't like it. It don't sit well with me. It leaves a very bad taste in my mouth. People on Twitter is going to roast this company if they do that. I would not do that. That's the wrong approach. I would have them have a good title reign. Until maybe Revolution or something where you have the Lucha Bros take on Proud and Powerful, and I would do it like that. I wouldn't do it now at Full Gear. as far as Full Gear is concerned, if you want the tag team belts defended, you could put in Jurassic Express. You could use the Gun Club. You could use.
What about Men of the Year?
Yeah, there's just so many different tag teams. Yeah, the Men of the Year, you can do that.
They got Dan Lambert.
I actually
think that Men of the Year. Yeah, I actually think that Men of the Year could be in line for a tag team title opportunity at Full Gear. I definitely wouldn't mind that. With Dan Lambert by their side, he's actually helping them. So I actually do believe that Men of the Year could possibly be in top contention for a tag team title opportunity when the time's right. But obviously the Lucha Bros are going to retain. There's no way that the Lucha Bros are going to drop titles to Men of the Year. Not now.
No. It's not the correct thing to do. It's not correct booking decision. It's just not. And I wouldn't do that. That would be a big no in their department.
So, where do the Bucks go from here? Do you think that they're kind of just going to take a back seat and put over some talent now? I mean, they were putting over talent at the beginning of their AEW run, but now that they finally got the tag team title win, you think now they're just going to mainly put over tag teams?
I could see that happening too. And they're also going to be whining about the loss as well. I'm quite sure they're going to come on Dynamite. And they're gonna introduce their new member of the Elite, and yeah, we got that little shocker.
We'll be talking about that a little bit later on.
So I can see that they I can see them doing that, putting over new talent, new tag teams. Yeah.
Speaking of new talent, we actually had the Women's Casino Battle Royale. Now, I was actually shocked that they put this match right afterwards, but this match actually flowed very, very nicely, and the crowd was actually fairly into this match. Chicago didn't light up. Chicago was hot all night. Crowd did not light up. And they were actually very, very excited for the closing moments of this match. The first suit we had was the Clubs, and they were Hikaru Shida, Sky Blue, Emi Sakura, the Bunny, and Abaddon. Abaddon still sucks, by the way. She eliminated Sky Blue, and then the Bunny eliminated her. So we were down to 3 women before the next suit came in, which was the Diamonds. It was Anna Jay, Kiera Hogan, Kylan King, Diamante, and Nyla Rose. Emi Sakura got eliminated, Kiera Hogan got eliminated, Kylan King got eliminated, all by Nyla Rose, I believe it was. Nyla also eliminated Hikaru Shida before the Hearts came out. The Hearts were Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, Riho, Jamie Hayter, and Big Swole. Rio and Diamante both got dumped. Jamie Hayter then took out Big Swole. The crowd was chanting for Thunder Rosa. She was an overwhelming favorite in this matchup. Then came the Spades. Spades were Ty Conte, Red Velvet, Layla Hirsch, Jade Cargill, and Rebel. Hirsch actually started suplexing everyone. She actually German suplexed Nyla Rose, which was very, very impressive. Rebel then got taken out. Goodbye, Rebel. Anna Jay and the Bunny then got eliminated. Jade Cargill then military pressed Layla Hirsch over the top onto some referees and talent that were already eliminated. Then all of a sudden, out came the Joker, and it was revealed to be Ruby Soho. And let me tell you something, man. The fact that they were chanting for Ruby Soho before she even came out, and the fact that she got a big ovation, and judging by the smile on her face, that has got to feel so good for her after all the years of being underutilized, mishandled, suppressed, and overlooked, after the lack of opportunities that she wasn't given. That has got to feel great for Ruby Soho to get that type of reaction in Chicago, and to have people chanting your name even when they had no idea if it was going to be you or not. And the fact that she just came out to that big fucking pop, that's got to feel amazing. And I'm very, very, very happy that she got that ovation. So Ruby Soho, she was going through some people. She actually had a run-in with Jade. She actually took out Jamie Hayter before Cargill took out Red Velvet, and then Nyla Rose then eliminated Jade Cargill. I have a feeling we'll be headed towards a match between those two down the line. Ty Conte then eliminated Penelope Ford before Nyla Rose eliminated Ty Conte. And then we were down to the final three. It was Nyla, Rosa, and Soho. So Nyla was obviously the overwhelming heel here. And they did a very good job at building up Nyla as that big, overwhelming heel. We then had Rosa eliminating Nyla to a huge fucking pop. And this was an excellent decision by Tony Khan. Tony Khan, he knows what the fuck he has, and he knows what the fuck he's doing. The final two came down to Thunder Rosa and Ruby Soho. Excellent move right there by Tony Khan. We then had... They went back and forth a little bit. Both women were on the apron. We had a couple of close calls. Ruby Riott then with the Gamengiri, the formerly known as the Riot Kick, and Ruby Soho actually won. Ruby Soho won the Battle Royal. Great crowd reaction for Ruby Soho. And one thing I got to give credit to Tony Khan for is that this was a fun Battle Royal. They know how to keep these Battle Royals fun, and they know how to keep these Battle Royals very, very entertaining. Soho ended up getting the win. I was shocked by this. I actually had Anna Jay winning this, but Soho ended up winning this, and I was not a guy that was really in favor of them giving it to Soho as her first match in AEW, and her first program was going to be for the Women's World Championship. But you know something? This really just speaks volumes about the level of trust and how much investment that they have in Ruby Soho. This just goes to show you that Tony Khan is very high on Ruby Soho, and he has big plans for Ruby Soho. Now, of course, there are some idiots out there. Which I gotta call them out. You know I have to call them out. There are some fucking idiots out there that are gonna be like, well, you know, you weren't too keen on Christian Cage winning the Battle Royal at Double or Nothing a couple months back, but you're okay with Ruby Soho. Alright, listen up, retards. Listen up. Christian Cage is an established star. Christian Cage has had numerous amounts of opportunities. Christian Cage is a 20-plus year veteran. He is a Hall of Famer. No matter how you look at it, the guy's a Hall of Famer. Christian Cage has had his moment in the sun. He's had numerous amounts of opportunities, and he's accumulated a career that everyone in the wrestling industry would kill for. Ruby Soho has never had the opportunity to showcase what she can do. That's the big difference between Christian Cage and Ruby Soho. Christian Cage winning would have actually had an opposite effect, and Christian Cage would have actually been booed. They were rooting for Jungle Boy in that match, and Tony Khan made the right decision to have Jungle Boy go over there. Ruby Soho got this reaction, and it's okay that Ruby Soho won, because Ruby Soho has never gotten the proper opportunities that she has deserved. How many times did she compete for the Women's Championship in her WWE run? What, like twice? Twice? And she did nothing. She was squashed by fucking Ronda Rousey in 90 seconds at a pay-per-view literally just 2 years ago. 2 years ago, she was squashed by Ronda Rousey on the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. She was robbed of opportunity after opportunity and suppressed. No one's going to boo or go against a woman, or an individual at that was suppressed of opportunities for so long. I swear to God, it's like these people, they think with their fucking ass, not their brain. But at the end of the day, I was shocked by the outcome, but Ruby Soho, Tony Khan, he's got big plans for Ruby Soho. He's very, very high on Ruby Soho. Very, very happy that Ruby Soho got that reaction and she got the win. And I'm very, very interested in seeing what she can do with Baker. And I can absolutely see Ruby Soho as a women's champion by the beginning of 2023. It's going to be very, very interesting in seeing what Ruby Soho does. Maybe she's the one. Maybe, if they want to, maybe they push her over Kris Statlander, and when Jade Cargill inevitably wins the championship, maybe they'll push her to take the title off of Jade Cargill. Who fucking knows? But Ruby Soho, they got big plans for her, and I'm very, very, very much looking forward to seeing what they do with Ruby Soho. Earl Cole, let me hear it. What did you think of this battle royal? What did you think of the ending sequence? And what did you think of Ruby Soho coming out victorious and getting the women's title opportunity?
Well, I don't have any issues with it. This poor woman. I feel so bad for her. The thing is that before she was fired from WWE, they booked her incorrectly. Mm-hmm. They really did. Yeah. They just destroyed her booking wise. They just destroyed her. And the thing is that they kept promising her this and promising her that, and they were not going to deliver on it. They were not going to deliver anything on it. And then to show up at a taping and then telling them that she's no longer required, her services are no longer required. I mean that's disgusting. That's not how you do. That's not how you treat your talent. That is not how you treat talent at all. That's disgusting. I mean, the WWE is kicking themselves now because this woman came out. She came out to a huge pop. I kind of knew that they were going to give her the battle royal because she deserves it. She's now in creative freedom. She don't have to worry about being stifled or micromanaged, or you can't say this on television and you can't do this on television. If she has an idea for her character, she goes to Tony Khan, and Tony Khan respects all his talent. He's gonna go with the ball and roll with it. It's a matter of just sitting down and talking creatively. The last two women in the match, I agree with. That was the correct spot to do it in. And I don't have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with it. I think it was the right call to do it. And to give it to her, I don't have any problems at all whatsoever. She deserves to be in the spotlight. She deserves that moment of freedom. The audience welcomed her back in fold, in spade, and she's gonna get the title opportunity. Now, she's not gonna win the title. I'm not saying that she's not gonna win the title, but at least she'll be in the title picture. She'll be in the match. She'll give Britt Baker a run for her money, and I think they will have a great chemistry in the ring. I don't have any issues. Again, I don't have any issues with it. And if you do have issues with it, that's your issue. That is your issue. You're not a wrestling fan. I don't have a problem with it. She came out to a huge pop. She deserves it. You could see the smile on her face. You could see that she was happy to be there. I have to say one thing before we move on. All of the talent that in AEW, each and every one of them, they all have smiles on their faces. And that is because backstage is not stifling. It's not there. There's no Vince running around with his head cut off, tearing up scripts and screaming at people and ruining things. This is just it's a relief to these talent that comes on into AEW, and I think that they deserve more. They deserve a lot more than what they got in WWE. And now that they're in AEW, they're going to get more and more and more and more and more. They're going to work hard at it. They're going to give the audience what they want. And all of the talent is going to give the audience exactly what their money's worth. They're going to entertain the audience, and they're going to go back in that locker room knowing that they don't have to worry about being micromanaged or anything. So, getting back to Ruby Riott, Ruby Soho, congratulate her. Congratulate her on winning the Battle Royal. I loved it. Let me ask you a question. Does Jade Cargill remind you of Chyna?
No. She has a similar build up to her, but no, she doesn't remind me of Chyna. I don't think so.
No. Okay. Okay,
Raquel
because somebody was
Gonzalez
asking me
reminds
that.
me more of China, if I'm going to be quite honest.
Oh, okay. Because I looked at her and I said, does she remind me of China, like power wise? Does she remind me of China? I mean, because she's built like China.
Yeah.
She's powerful like China. So I'm just kind of curious to get somebody else's perspective and ask them. It's like, do you think that she looks like? Do you think that she reminds you? Um,
It is what it is there. Again, people, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Hopefully, we're going to get through the rest of the review. We got about 4 more matches to go over. Next match we had after that was MJF versus Chris Jericho. Now, if Jericho lost, he would never wrestle in AEW again. We had this awesome entrance for MJF. Jericho's entrance, it was a hit and miss because the Fozzy guitar, the guitar guy for Fozzy, did not sound very good. I don't know what it was. It did not come off very well. Jericho's entrance was not very good. They just should have played the regular Judas theme song. But MJF's entrance, oh my God. MJF's entrance was fantastic. They had MJF come out to Jericho's old millennial countdown clock and then a Titan graphic that said Jericho's last match. That was fucking great. MJF knows how to be a dick, and I love it. So again, Jericho came out with the Fozzy guitar player. It did not sound good at all, like I said. I don't know what it was, but it did not sound good at all. So after that, we saw MJF targeting the arm of Jericho. Jericho came back with a bulldog and a butterfly backbreaker for a 2. MJF kept the pressure on Jericho. He hit a heat seeker on the apron. Then he went for a lion salt, but Jericho dodged it. Jericho then powerbombed MJF on the apron. Jericho then caught MJF with a Jericho didn't catch MJF with a code breaker. MJF caught Jericho with a code breaker. MJF caught Jericho with a code breaker. That got a 2. Jericho came back with a lion salt for a 2. Crowd was chanting, "You still got it." Jericho then with a Hurricane Rana attempt. MJF countered with a spine buster from the middle rope, which looked awesome. MJF then hooked Jericho's leg, but Jericho kicked out. Jericho then with a diving code breaker from the middle rope. MJF kicked out. Now Wardlow and Hager, they came out and they started brawling, and multiple refs came down to stop them. We then had a big brawl on the stage area. MJF then used Floyd the Bat against Jericho behind the referee's back. He hit the Judas effect. He pinned Jericho 1, 2, 3, but Jericho got his foot on the rope. Aubrey didn't see it. Now this was awesome right here. This was a very well booked ending. Aubrey didn't see Jericho's foot on the rope, but Paul Turner, who was trying to break up the referee brawl on the outside between, not the referee brawl, the brawl between Hager and Wardlow, Paul Turner saw that Jericho got his foot on the rope, so Paul Turner went to Aubrey and was telling Aubrey, no, Jericho got his foot on the rope. MJF was arguing with the refs, and then all of a sudden, the match restarted. Justin Roberts announced that because of what happened, and Paul Turner saw that Jericho got his foot on the rope, the match restarted. Now, the crowd was going nuts. Jericho tried for a roll-up. MJF just kicked out. MJF locked in Salt of the Earth. Jericho tried to get out of it. He did. And he locked in the walls of Jericho. It was locked in deep. MJF ended up tapping out. And Jericho remains in AEW. Jericho is not retiring. This was a very good match. Very well told story as well. I thought that they told an excellent story, and this was probably the best told story of the match, or of the night rather. This was the best told story of the night in terms of pro wrestling. The steel cage match, that was obviously match of the night, but this match told a much better story. They did an excellent job. Very, very, very good stuff, and an awesome finish. This was probably MJF and Jericho's best match together, and in the end, MJF took a loss. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal because, A, MJF already holds three victories over Chris Jericho, and then two, MJF is so good at what he does, especially considering this was only his second legitimate loss in AEW. MJF is just so good at what he does that he's pretty much bulletproof. He is so good at what he does that he is going to be that much more over as a heel no matter what happens. He can literally turn chicken shit into chicken salad. That's how good MJF is. MJF, no matter what happens, MJF is going to be that much more over no matter what, because he's that good of a heel. And on top of that, if MJF beat Jericho, then that would mean he would probably realistically have to move on to the World Championship next. But you can't do that. Can't do that because Omega's still the champion, and Page, he needs a lengthy reign with the title. So you're not going to do that. So at the end of it all, it's really not that big of a deal. At the end of it all, it is really not that big of a deal. MJF is going to be just fine. Jericho's going to be just fine. I'm interested to see where these two go from here. Jericho, I don't know where he goes. I think he mainly just takes on more of an advocate role because he's going to advocate for the Inner Circle. He's going to advocate for Proud and Powerful to get the tag team titles. He's going to advocate for Sammy to get the TNT Championship. You know what I mean? I don't know where Jericho goes. Maybe we could see a match with Punk. Maybe we see a match with Punk. Maybe we see another match with potentially Darby. I don't know. I don't know where MJF goes either, but I have a feeling he may go up against Moxley. But this was a very good match, very well-told story with an awesome finish. And MJF, don't matter that he lost. It's only his second loss in AEW history, and the guy is just so good, he's going to be over as a heel no matter what. I had no problem with MJF taking the loss. What say you, Mr. Cole?
The best part of that match was Excalibur. I never knew Excalibur can curse, but he said, I mean, when he was on the microphone and Jericho's foot was on the rope, he said, "This is bullshit."
Oh God, that was fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic, man.
I was like, "What?" I said, "I've never heard Excalibur curse before." I loved it. I mean, the ending was just absolutely poetic. I mean, it was just absolutely great. I had no issues whatsoever with the ending. Clearly, you saw Jericho's foot on the. Clearly, Aubrey Edwards didn't see it. She was tucked so down on the shoulder. She was looking at the shoulder. She didn't even look to see that Jericho's foot was on the rope.
Yeah.
I thought the match was very compelling. It told the story. All those fifth labors of Jericho that he went through and everything else culminated into getting this monkey off of his back and finally beating MJF. Yes, and I love his entrance. I thought that was cute. I thought it was thought-provoking. It's just like a heel. It's
exactly.
Just like
MJF is the best heel in pro wrestling right behind Roman.
Yeah, that's why I said he of a dirty Roddy Piper. That's what MJF reminds me of. One of those dirty Roddy Piper heels. That's what he reminds me of. And but this was the right outcome. I didn't want to see Jericho losing his in-ring performance. I think he's still got some more gas in the tank. I think that he can get over some of the other stars in the ring. So I like the match. I don't have any issues with it. I don't have any gripes. I don't have anything to say about it. I thought it was poetic justice. It was the right outcome, the right call. Controversy in the end, but the controversy was cleared up by another referee. So, good stuff.
So after that, we went into one of the most anticipated matches in a long, long time. Darby Allin versus CM Punk. And let me tell you something. This was an excellent moment. And CM Punk, man, he looked great. After 7 years, he didn't miss a step, dude. It's like he never fucking left. It was great. This was a great match. I love the pacing of this match. They didn't really need to go balls to the wall. It didn't need to go balls to the wall. Punk and Darby, they went back and forth. Very, very technical start. Punk sent Darby through the ropes into the post. It looked brutal. Punk then began to wear down Darby. Nice tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for a 2. Darby took over with an over-the-top stunner and a coffin splash. Darby with a code red for a 2. Darby then countered a back superplex with a crossbody for a 2. Punk hit the GTS on Darby, but Darby fell out of the ring. Darby then beat the count into the ring. Punk with a running knee and a clothesline, turning Darby inside out. Darby came back with a tope suicida and then a swanton bomb onto Punk on the floor. Darby then missed a coffin drop, and Punk sat up. And this was great. Punk went for the cover, but Darby rolled through into a crucifix. Punk then, with a leg lariat after he got out of the Last Supper, Punk then reversed a poison Rana. He hit the GTS, and Punk got the win. Punk looked great. He looked to be in fantastic shape. He hung in there good with Darby. This was a very nice moment, great moment, very good match. Afterwards, Sting came out. He extended his hand to Punk, and Punk shook it. And then Punk and Sting watched as Darby got up, and Punk extended his hand to Darby, and Darby shook it as the crowd chanted for Darby. Darby is now that much more over than he was before this match. And I thought this was an excellent, excellent, excellent moment. Very nice pacing of the match. Punk looked great. He didn't need to go balls to the wall. He didn't need to go over the top crazy. He'll get there. Even though this was his first match back, he worked a little bit slower of a match. Didn't matter. It worked out well for him. It worked out great for Darby. I don't know what is to come now for Punk. But based on that ending, I actually thought in my mind that Sting was going to turn heel. I thought that Sting was going to either attack Darby or attack Punk. But I would not mind seeing a Sting versus Punk match. I would not mind seeing that at all. Because Sting, he's looked great. Sting can still go. In the small roles that they've used him in, Sting can still go. And Punk, obviously, he can still go. I would love to see what Sting and Punk produce. I think that would be a very, very interesting feud just to keep Punk occupied for the time being before we inevitably get that match with Kenny Omega and CM Punk. Because you know that's coming. You know that's coming at some point. But I thought the moment was very good. I thought the match was very good. And this was a very, very, very nice return match for Punk. It was history, man. It was absolute history. And I absolutely love the fact that Tony Khan was able to bring in CM Punk. CM Punk looks happy. And that's what I love. I don't know where Darby goes. I'd love to see a program between Darby and Malachi Black, if you're asking me. Punk, I wouldn't mind seeing Punk and Sting at the next show. I think that they could absolutely build up Full Gear to be just as big, if not bigger than All Out. But let me hear you. What were your thoughts on this match? What were your thoughts on the moment of Punk and Sting and Darby sharing at the end?
You said it all. There's really nothing I can say. How do I follow that? How do I follow that?
I think you can do it, brother. Don't worry.
I mean, after 7 years hiatus, he came out to a huge ovation. I mean, this match to me was just absolutely sizzling. It was just scintillating. It was thought-provoking. It was everything that you wanted in a match. This was the most anticipated match of the night. You know, actually, I had thought that this match was going to overshadow all of the other matches, but all of the other matches, to me, they all shined on their own. They just held their own. Each and every match held their own. And this match absolutely did it for me. It just did it for me. I mean, this was just, it was good stuff. It was, you know, I heard a few chants of "You Still Got It." I heard that through the audience. This was great. This was absolutely great. I don't have any issues with it. I don't have any critique about it. I'm not going to knock the match. I'm not going to do anything of that nature. I'm just going to just say I enjoyed it wholeheartedly. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And this was well thought out. This was well done, well booked. put together, great chemistry in the ring, great fluidity in the ring. Nothing looked awkward. Nothing looked out of place. Punk just rose to the occasion, matched Darby's intensity level, and gave the audience what they deserved.
So, where can you see Punk going from here? Where can you see Punk and Darby going from here? You think Punk's headed towards a match with Sting, or do you think he's headed down the road with someone else? And now, as Darby, do you think he's going up against Black or someone else?
As far as Sting and Punk is concerned, I that for Revolution. I really would say that for Revolution.
Okay.
I really would. Yes, I would. I would. I would build it up a little bit. I wouldn't be rushed to put these two together yet. Everything needs to simmer. Everything needs to simmer. And I think you need to build it up first. You don't want to rush into it. I don't want to rush into it because you need that kind of a match needs simmering. That kind of a match needs simmering. And I don't think that this year is the right time for it. I don't think so. But again, I could be wrong. But I don't think it's the right time for it. I think Revolution is the perfect time for these two to mix it up in the ring. Just like Thunder Rosa getting her title match. Everything at Revolution. Everything that these two matches should not be happening now. They need time to marinate. So let's marinate on that and keep the feud going, keep the heat going between Sting and Punk until it all comes to the head at Revolution. And I think that's the correct thing to do at this point in time. As far as Darby Allin is concerned, well, I could see him going after Malachi Black. I could see that. I could see that happening. Yeah, I could see that happening. I don't see him with anybody else because he already did that. He already did the thing with Ethan Page. He already did that. Been there, done that. Who else can he feud with? I don't see anybody.
Yeah, Malachi Black's probably the best option right here. Again, people, I apologize for the technical difficulties.
Yeah, maybe Daniel Garcia is another person that could give Darby a little dance. But again, Malachi Black would be somebody that'd be good for him. So
you're gonna have to start building him up, and you know that Malachi and Darby, they're gonna put on a fucking barn burner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So after that, this was the come down match of the show, and it was Paul White versus QT Marshall. Really nothing to it. Short, simple, quick. The match shouldn't have even been on the show, if we're going to be quite honest with you, but I will give them props. They did a good job at handling it. They placed it on between two matches that you know were going to be great work rate matches. This match was pretty much nothing. Paul White got the win here. Paul White with a chokeslam in 3 minutes after he took out Aaron Solo and Nick Camarado. Chokeslam to QT Marshall, and Paul White gets the win 1-2-3. This match meant nothing. This match didn't need to be on the card. This match is going to have no bearing on any future implications with Paul White or QT Marshall. And that was pretty much it. Do you want to say anything about it, or do you want to just move on to the main event? Because, again, it really didn't mean anything.
No, there's really nothing I can say about it. You said it all.
Yeah, short, sweet, to the point. It didn't overstay its welcome. They did a good job. They handled it perfectly, and goodbye. That was pretty much it. So, main event. The main event. We had Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage for the AEW World Championship. And why? Because the world title always closes the pay-per-views. Why? Because the world title is the most important thing on the show. Unless you want to have a history-making moment with any other one of your champions, like the first ever women's match to main event a pay-per-view, or the first ever tag team match to main event a pay-per-view, world title always closes the show because it's the most important thing on the show. It's the one reason why everyone is in the company. Plain and simple. That's a fact right there. So this match, right match to close the show. Very, very happy that they had this match close the show. Christian Cage and Kenny Omega, they had very good chemistry together. They worked very, very well. They are two brilliant minds, and this was a very, very, very good match. Very nice pacing of the match. Christian Cage and Kenny Omega, they brought the fight to each other immediately. Christian Cage dove over the post onto Kenny Omega before Kenny sent Cage into the steps. He then placed a table over Christian Cage and gave Cage a double foot stomp into the table. Then he set up another table. Christian Cage tried to regain control, but Omega hit a moonsault off the barricade to Christian Cage. Omega then got crotched on the top rope. Christian Cage then with a Hurricane Rana, both men were sent crashing to the mat. Both men then started trading strikes. Christian with a reverse DDT for a 2. Omega came back with a stiff knee. Christian Cage came back with a swinging DDT for another close 2 count. Omega with a V-trigger to the back. 2 Snapdragon suplexes. Christian Cage then gave Omega the bird. And then Omega's like, all right, you know what? Fuck you too. And then he gave him a Snapdragon suplex for the 3rd time. And then another V-trigger. Omega then eyed the table. Christian Cage tried to block Kenny Omega's one-winged angel through the table, and he did. Christian Cage then hit a spear off of the apron through the table. Both men fucking crashed and burned. That was a nasty fucking landing right there. Then we had Christian Cage back in the ring. He hit a spear to the back of Kenny Omega and then a spear to the front, turning Kenny Omega inside out. Omega still kicked out. Omega then got his knees up on the frog splash from Christian Cage. Omega then with more knees to the face of Cage. A ripcord V-trigger. Cage came back with a cloverleaf, but Don Callis called for the Good Brothers. The Good Brothers came out. Omega accidentally struck Gallows with a V-trigger. We went counter for counter before a kill switch inevitably connected, but Omega kicked out. Christian Cage then went for a super kill switch, but Kenny Omega with a one-winged angel. And Kenny Omega, 1, 2, 3, retains the AEW World Championship in a very, very, very good main event. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff right here between the both of them. And these two, I think they outdid their match from Rampage. And they worked very well together. They did a good job. What were your thoughts on this overall match?
Again, brilliant assessment by you. And, brilliant. I thought that this match was good. It was a correct way to close the show. It was a correct thing to go over. I knew Kenny was not going to cough the title up to Christian. I knew that was not going to take place. I don't have any issues with it. I think they both had great chemistry in the ring. The moves were correct. There was no botches in the match. There was no sloppiness. There was nothing going on in the match. And it had fluidity. The audience loved it. They were drinking it up, and they got their money's worth. Especially the ending. They get their money's worth. But this was great. This was absolutely great. I agree with the outcome, and I agree with the match itself. I don't have any issues with it.
So, where can you see Christian Cage going from here before we move on to what happened afterwards? We all know where Kenny's headed, but what can happen with Christian Cage now? Do you think he just does his thing with Impact, and then he focuses solely on that before he inevitably drops the title, and then he goes back to doing what he's doing in AEW?
I think that's the correct road to travel on. I think that is the correct road to travel on. Come to AEW and maybe he defends the Impact Championship at Dynamite to somebody, and then goes back to Impact and do what he has to do, and defend his title accordingly.
So after the match, the Bucks came out. and they all decided to beat down Christian Cage. Jurassic Express tried to come out and help, but they were overwhelmed. Kenny then took the mic, and he goes, "No one is on my level. I don't care about your hometown heroes. Doesn't matter where I go. The only people that can beat me are either not here, they're already retired, or they're already dead." Then, all of a sudden, the lights go out. And out comes Adam Cole. Baby. He is All Elite. An absolutely thunderous ovation. Everyone was going fucking crazy. I did not think that we were going to see Adam Cole. That came completely out of left field. He came out, he did his Adam Cole Bebe shtick, and then he gave a super kick to Jungle Boy. Omega then goes, in the famous words of Steve Urkel, "Did I do that?" So he goes, "What did you think was going to happen? This guy's one of our best friends." So Cole goes, "Who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby?" The Elite is the most dominant faction in the history of this business, and there ain't no chance in hell, wink wink, that anyone is going to stop us. Omega was then getting ready to do his goodbye and goodnight bang shtick, but then all of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere, we hear that famous riff from that Flight of the Valkyries song, and we see Bryan Danielson come out. Crowd was going fucking nuts, and we get this huge brawl with Bryan Danielson standing tall after giving a running knee to Nick Jackson, and the babyfaces stood tall. Unfucking believable moment. And it was an absolute treat to watch. I could not have asked for a better ending. History was made. We got Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan back to back, and holy shit. Dude, as we said in the beginning, sports entertainment is dead. Pro wrestling lives again. And I cannot wait to see what happens in the near future. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good fucking fall season, and it's going to be a good fucking winter for AEW, man. What were your thoughts on this ending segment and the way that All Out went off the air with Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson?
Again, you were brilliant. You know something? Let me say something. I smell another blood and guts. Ooh. You got Danielson one side. You got Adam Cole leading the Elite. I could smell this blood and guts match a mile away. And I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know what the right show is to do it on. But let me tell you something. I smell it coming. I can sense it in my bones, in my gut. I can smell another blood and gut happening. I can just picture. I love the ending. I absolutely love the ending. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm just at a loss because I'm at a loss, dude. I'm at a loss because I was not expecting Adam Cole. I was not expecting that. I wasn't.
Came out of nowhere, man. Bay is All Elite. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, and I was just like, and then it's like, wait. We got one more surprise for you. We have one more. Cut Daniel Bryan out of the curtain. I mean, because I was expecting Daniel Bryan. I was not expecting Adam Cole. That was just totally off guard. But I'm telling you right now, I could smell a blood and guts here. I mean, there is a making here for a possible blood and guts match. I'm telling you, there's a making. I love the ending. I absolutely love the ending. I like the way he gave the running knee to to the young bucks. I mean, the way they all stood tall in the ring. I mean, this was just absolutely a great way to close the pay-per-view. I mean, the audience must have went home and they were like, oh my God, what did we see tonight? What did we get? I mean, from top to bottom, this All Out was something that a wrestling fan would want to have happen in their lifetime. And we were treated to a moments that we will never forget. I will never forget these moments as long as I live as a wrestling fan. I mean, I don't even care about Raw anymore. I don't even care about WWE.
I unfortunately have to watch it because I got this brand.
I got to go to Madison Square Garden on Friday night and to be witnessing the SmackDown. I'm going to step into an arena for the first time in over a year, and I'm just going to have AEW on my mind the whole time I'm watching this SmackDown in the Garden. I can't get off this high. I just can't. It's just, what do you say? What do you say? What do you say to that? What do you say to anybody? How do you compare what you saw on Sunday to what you're going to get now? I mean,
you can't, man. You can't.
It's a great way to close the show. That's all I can say. Bravo to AEW. Bravo to keep it a secret. Bravo to everything that they produced on.
It was good shit, man. It was really, really good shit. I'm very, very happy to see that turned out well. And I'm very, 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 very much looking forward to seeing what happens in the near future. But, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the rewind for AEW All Out. And we went pretty damn long. I would like to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in. Do not forget, check out all the links in the description. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Check out the ISPW weekend that I uploaded. That was yesterday. And then, of course, I'm actually at work right now, for those of you that are watching this right now. Of course, we got the Lightning Flash update returning back on Saturdays. This Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Lightning Flash update is back. It is back on Saturdays, and we are going to be up and running. Of course, hopefully, we can get Earl Cole's technical issues sorted out, because hopefully I can have him back on for the rundown for WWE Extreme Rules towards the end of the month. But one last time, Earl, where can we find you on social media before we get out of here?
Sure, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, of course, and you can always find me on Twitter at WWEEarlC. That's WWEEarlC on Twitter. Instagram is EarlC99, and of course, I'm on Facebook. You can make me a friend on Facebook, and please join the DJ Storm Posse page, where I am a senior member administrator on there. I will give you all the news, rumors, and report that I can. Anything that comes through the wrestling airport, I put it on the page for you all to read. I also, give DJ Storms a little bit of news so that he can bring it on his Lightning Flash up, and he can do his brand and his shtick and everything else that is going on. I am sure he is going to give you every single news and reviews that he can possibly give you for this Lightning Flash update. But again, I do appreciate you, DJ Storms. I am a fan of yours. I am an advocate of yours. And your brand is red hot. And again, I thank you once again for letting me grace your channel and, of course, your brand. And I'm eternally grateful to you. Again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, I have a show called The Wrestling Experience. You can watch all of the encore presentation of my show on my YouTube channel. They're all uploaded. All of the videos are there. Check it out when you have a spare time. You'll be entertained. I guarantee you'll be entertained. And I will be back in September with another guest on my show, and we're gonna bust down everything that's going on in WWE. And that is it for me. And I'm going to be in cyberspace, and you can look for me there. Oh, also, one other thing before I go. This Friday night, I will be in Madison Square Garden. I'm going to be live on the DJ Storms Posse page from Madison Square Garden because I'm going to show you inside the garden for SmackDown, Super SmackDown, where The Undertaker will return to Madison Square Garden. The Undertaker's coming to Super SmackDown this Friday night, and we will be in Madison Square Garden for that. So tune in to Madison Square Garden, tune in for that, and that is it for me. DJ Storms, thanks again.
Not a problem, man. Thank you very much. I am DJ Storms. He's Earl Cole. This has been The Rewind, and I will catch you this Saturday for the LFU